Good morning. Day 2, discipline. I have sometimes some screwy beliefs, but this is one of the strongest beliefs I have. I think if you're a parent, you end up with two choices. You can either be friends with your kids when they're young, or you can be friends with your kids when they're older, but you can't be both. See, the toughest thing to do for a parent is to discipline their children. And that is, without a doubt, the most difficult thing. And it's a lot easier to be a friend and let them get away with stuff. But the thing about it is they don't learn anything. Now, this story is one of the most powerful stories in the curriculum. And it was told to Zig Ziglar by the man that did it, Bernie Lofchick. Bernie Lofchick had a son named David Lofchick. And David was born with a disease that forced Bernie every night to put wooden braces on his legs. Now, this was back in a time when the braces were heavy and wooden and painful. And he had to put these braces on his legs every night so that the legs didn't morph back to the fetal position. And if he didn't do that, then David probably was never going to be able to walk. Well, every night, Bernie went in and he put those braces on. And when Bernie tells the story, he says, it wasn't just one night, but it was many a night when that little boy would look up at me and he would say, how about tonight we don't put them on? Just tonight. Or if we do have to put them on, how about tonight we don't put them on tight? And Bernie said it was mostly with tears in his eyes that he screwed those braces on. But he said it was a totally different set of tears when his son David walked down the aisle at his bar mitzvah with no help from anyone. Because when he was very young, he screwed those braces on. Well, see, you don't have a disease. You don't need to screw braces on your legs. But if your parents aren't screwing braces on you, you need to screw them on. You're either going to be self-disciplined or you're going to be disciplined by others. If you're an athlete and you're playing for a coach that screws the braces on, don't complain about him. Thank you. Maybe the best teacher at Marshall High School was a lady named Celia Lewis. And I have never heard kids talk worse about a teacher. I mean, my players were always talking about how mean she was and didn't give them any breaks, and they just had to do all this, and she taught chemistry and physics. There's even some of their parents that went to the school board and wanted her fired because she was just too tough on those kids. But it never failed when one of the players would come by to see me, and they'd be going to college somewhere, and they'd come by to see me, and they'd say, well, I'm going to go up and see Miss Lewis, then I'm got to go back to school. And I'd say, wait a minute, Miss Lewis, I thought you hated Miss Lewis. Oh, I did. Until I got into that first chemistry class in college. And I realized I was better prepared for that class than anybody in the room. And the reason was Miss Lewis did not allow me to settle for anything but the best. What did she do? She screwed the braces on. See, screwing the braces on you does not allow you to walk. But screwing the braces on David Lofchick meant he didn't need a wheelchair to get down the aisle. He didn't need somebody to push him down the aisle. Well, that's the same thing, similar to you. Do you need someone to take care of you all your life? Or are you going to eventually become independent? Are you going to live at your house with your parents forever? Are you going to ever step out and be disciplined? Screwing the braces on is a metaphor that is either done by people around you, Miss Lewis, or a coach, or your parents. But if you're not lucky enough to have that coach that does it, or that teacher that does it, or the supervisor that does it, or the parent, it doesn't mean it doesn't get done. It means it has to be done by you. You may have to be the one to screw the braces on. And when you do the screw the braces on, you become the best you that you can be.